Tonight, I want you to think about something you rarely question: time. Not the ticking clock on your wall, not the countdown on your phone battery, not even your calendar reminders, but time itself. Why does Monday feel different from Sunday? Why does 5 minutes waiting in line feel longer than an hour watching a show you love? Why do some people seem ahead in life while others feel behind? Time feels natural, neutral, universal. But sociology asks a different question. What if time is social? Take a slow breath, and let's begin. Part 1. Time is not just a clock, it's a social agreement. Right now, somewhere in the world, it's morning. Somewhere else, it's night. Some people are working, others are sleeping. But none of that is determined by the sun alone. We created time zones. We decided when a workday starts. We agreed that weekends exist. Before industrialization, most people didn't live by the minute. In medieval Europe, church bells signaled prayer times. In agricultural societies, days followed the rhythm of seasons. Time was fluid, cyclical, natural. Then came factories. During the Industrial Revolution in places like Manchester and Birmingham, time became strict, measured, monetized. Workers had to arrive at 8 a.m. Lunch lasted exactly 30 minutes. Late arrivals were punished. Time became discipline. The sociologist E.P. Thompson called this shift the move from task-oriented time to clock time. Before factories, you worked until the task was done. After factories, you worked until the clock said stop. That's a profound change. It means how you experience time every day, your schedule, your deadlines, your sense of urgency, isn't just personal. It's historical. Part 2. Time is money. You've heard the phrase, time is money, but that idea hasn't always existed. In capitalist societies, especially in places like the United States and Canada, time is treated as a resource. You spend time, you waste time, you invest time. Even our language reveals our economic values. If you're busy, you're important. If you're productive, you're successful. If you rest too much, you're lazy. But is that natural or is that cultural? In some Mediterranean cultures, long meals are expected. In parts of Latin America, arriving 15 minutes late isn't disrespectful. It's normal. Sociologists sometimes describe this difference as monochronic versus polychronic time. Monochronic cultures value punctuality and schedules. Polychronic cultures prioritize relationships over rigid timetables. Neither is right. But if you've ever felt stressed because someone was late or judged because you were, you've experienced time as a social norm, not a law of physics. Part 4. Social time, the life clock. Now let's make this personal. Have you ever felt behind in life? Behind on marriage, behind on kids, behind on career success, behind on buying a house. That feeling comes from something sociologists call the social clock. The idea that there is a correct timeline for life milestones. Graduate by your early 20s, build a career by your 30s, settle down before 35, retire around 65. But who decided that? These expectations are shaped by institutions, economies, and history. In the mid-20th century, particularly after World War II in countries like the United States, there was a standardized life course: education, work, marriage, children. Today, that timeline is far less predictable. People change careers at 40, have children at 45, or choose not to marry at all. Yet the pressure of the right time lingers, and when your life doesn't align with the dominant timeline, it can feel like failure. But sociologically speaking, it's just a mismatch between your path and a socially constructed schedule, not a personal flaw. Part 4. Waiting, the unequal experience of time. Now think about waiting. Waiting in a hospital, waiting for immigration paperwork, waiting for a job offer, waiting on hold. Time doesn't feel equal in these moments. Sociologists have studied how waiting is often imposed by institutions. The powerful rarely wait. Executives don't sit in crowded waiting rooms. Wealthy clients don't wait in long queues. But marginalized groups often experience what some scholars call slow violence through time. Delayed services, extended uncertainty, bureaucratic delays. In immigration systems in countries like Canada, applications can take months or years. Time becomes control. If someone controls your schedule, your deadlines, your access, they control your future. That's time as power. Now let's fast forward. You wake up, you check your phone, notifications, emails, news, messages. In our digital era, especially since the rise of companies like Apple Inc. and Meta platforms, time has become constant. There is no clear boundary between work and rest. You can answer emails at midnight, scroll endlessly at 2 a.m., consume content from any time zone. The sociologist Hartmut Rosa argues that modern society is defined by social acceleration. We move faster, communicate faster, expect responses faster. Yet, paradoxically, we feel like we have less time. Have you ever said, "Where did the day go?" That's not just poor planning. It may be structural. When everything speeds up, your internal sense of time struggles to keep pace. Part 6. The Sociology of Boredom and Leisure. Let's slow this down. What is boredom? In pre-modern societies, long stretches of quiet weren't unusual. But today, boredom feels uncomfortable. We reach for our phones within seconds. Leisure, too, has changed. Even relaxation is scheduled, optimized, tracked. You can measure your sleep, count your steps, time your meditation. The line between productivity and rest has blurred. Sociologists note that when leisure becomes something to improve or maximize, it stops feeling like leisure. Time off becomes another task. And maybe that's why genuine stillness feels rare. Part 7. Memory, Nostalgia, and Time Perception. Why did summers feel longer when you were a child? Why do years seem shorter as you age? Psychologists explain this partly through novelty. New experiences stretch perception. But sociologically, childhood often contains fewer rigid time pressures. No mortgage deadlines, no performance reviews, no retirement plans. As adults, life becomes structured. Weeks blur into routines. Time feels faster, not because clocks change, but because structure tightens. When every Tuesday looks the same, memory compresses. Novelty expands time. Routine shrinks it. Part 8. Reclaiming Time. So what do we do with this? If time is socially structured, if it's shaped by capitalism, institutions, technology, and culture, are we powerless? Not entirely. Awareness itself changes experience. When you realize that feeling behind is socially constructed, it loses some of its sting. When you notice that busyness is culturally rewarded, you can question whether you want to participate in that race. When you carve out moments that aren't monetized, optimized, or scheduled, you gently resist. You redefine time on your own terms. Even small acts matter. A slow walk without tracking steps, a meal without multitasking, an evening without checking notifications. These are not just personal choices, they are micro-acts of temporal autonomy. Closing reflection. Time feels universal, but sociology shows us that how we experience it, how we divide it, value it, fear it, and chase it is deeply social. The week, the workday, the life milestones, the deadlines, the urgency, none of it is inevitable. It's organized, and if it's organized, it can be reorganized. So tonight, as the clock moves quietly forward, notice that you are not late, you are not behind.
You were simply moving through a socially constructed rhythm that billions of others share. And perhaps, just for a moment, you can let that rhythm soften. Time will pass either way. The question sociology leaves us with is this: who decided how it should feel?